Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen, and this week we're going to try something a little bit different. Something that I thought would be fun for you guys to talk about amongst yourselves, or put your answers in the comments on what you think of this particular topic of discussion. I thought it'd be fun to try this, and if you guys like it, maybe that's something I could do more of in the future, Add another little layer to my channel. I just thought this would be something fun that I would try and see how it goes, So I will raise a certain topic of discussion, and I would like you guys to comment below and what your thoughts are. So the topic of discussion is going to be the perception of film critics by YouTube and members of not just the horror community, but YouTube in general, people that review films on YouTube and on other platforms that aren't really professional critics or people that are getting paid to do it, or, What are you guys' thoughts on actual film critics that do get paid to do it, that this is their job to review movies and critique films? What do you guys think about it? I know that throughout the horror community there isn't too much love for them, it seems, because when it comes to the horror genre, generally, horror films are not really beloved so much by critics, except the really good ones that are really well directed, have really good acting and really good story and creativity, and all that. Films like that, they do enjoy, some of the Hitchcock stuff, or, some of the stuff today, like something like Hereditary, or films like The Exorcist, or Halloween, So what are you guys' thoughts on that? And I'm going to give you my particular opinions on it. And my opinion is this. I do have a lot of respect for critics. For me, seeing a bad review can make or break a movie for me on whether or not I want to see the film. And I'm one of those people that does look at Rotten Tomatoes. And for those of you who don't know what Rotten Tomatoes is, it's a site, it's a website that they take a bunch of film critics around the world and take all their reviews and lump them together and come up with a rating of their opinions on a film. And, they put it all together and they come up with the percentage and they release it on the site. And it'll be like, good is like, 75 to 100%, and bad is like, 65 or below kind of thing. And if it's bad, it's rotten, and if it's good, it's fresh, And you see that on a lot of, the video cases or the Blu-ray cases. Rotten Tomatoes score 89%, and rated, certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, And I'm one of the people that looks like that, And if you see a film where all the critics around the world seem to hate it, you can pretty much bet that it's not going to be a good movie, And generally stuff like that, I won't just specifically look at the score, but I'll look at the separate interviews, which you can do on the site too. You can look at the article where the review is on, by a certain critic. And you'll see how they break it down, the goods and the bads, and, And I respect that of a film critic, that, they have to watch every piece of crap movie that comes out every single week. Not just the good films, the bad ones and the really bad movies, You think that's easy to have to sit through so many horrible movies every single week and write a long, detailed article about it, describing how bad it is and what exactly is bad about it, and, all the details. I feel like that would be tough for me. And as I've said before, I am not a professional film critic at all. I'm just someone basically that reviews films that I enjoy and that I want to talk about it. It's more, my reviews are more like discussions of films that I like and films that I want to recommend to people. You know, check this movie out. This is really good. You know, check out these cool gore effects in this movie, or the tension in this movie, or how well filmed it is. You know, even movies that may not necessarily be great overall. I'll break down some things that I really enjoy that you should check out this movie for, you know, even if it's not really a good movie per se overall, you know. And that's kind of what my channel is more like, you know. You don't really see too many, like, negative reviews that I've done. I've done a few here and there, but, you know, generally I talk and I discuss movies that I like and why I like them and why I think you should check it out. And of course, there is the side of it where, especially when it comes to the horror films, you know, like I'm gonna see a Halloween movie no matter what, no matter what critics say about it. There's always gonna be a movie where you're gonna see it no matter what anyone says, you know, you know. For example, Godzilla vs. Kong. Hell yeah, I've waited my whole life to see that. I don't care if critics think it's a piece of garbage. I'm going to go see it, you know. But I'm not going to lie. If all critics hate a movie, even if it is something I really want to see, it is kind of disappointing to me. I'm going to go see it anyway, but it's kind of disappointing to me. I'm like, wow. All these critics around the world feel the same way, you know. Damn, maybe there's something to it, you know. And then you'll go see the movie, and you'll find out there is something to what they said, you know. You know. I mean, you might like certain things about it, but you might be disappointed too, you know. Like, for example, a film like Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. That's a movie I really was looking forward to. Like, oh my god, it's Batman vs. Superman. This is amazing. And I was looking forward to it so much, I couldn't wait to see it until the Rotten Tomatoes score came out and you see all these critics bashing the hell out of this movie. I'm like, what? How can this be? It's Batman vs. Superman. How could they get that wrong? Well, look at the movie. You know, they did get it wrong. They got a lot of it wrong, you know. Not everything. There were some good things about Batman vs. Superman. I'm not going to lie. The look of it, the costume design, you know, the way it's so dark. But, you know, it's not a good movie. Come on. So, yeah. A lot of times a critic review can make or break whether and decide whether or not I'm going to pay my hard-earned money to see a movie, you know, and that's kind of why film critics exist, and I do respect that. And I know when it comes to the horror genre, a lot of times people don't respect critics because, like back in the day when you had Siskel and Ebert, there was a time there, like in the early 80s, when they had all the slasher movies coming out, you know, the knockoffs of Halloween and stuff, you know, that they really didn't like, and they kind of went on a campaign saying, these movies are misogynistic to women, and these are a disgrace, they're garbage, they're trash, you know, and things like that. And, you know, I can understand why people wouldn't like movie critics when it comes to the horror genre because of that. Because, oh, we love slasher movies, you know. We'll watch every slasher movie ever made, you know. But when you think about it, a lot of those movies really aren't actual good movies. Yeah, there are some, like, for example, Maniac is one that I think is a really good movie, but they bashed it, you know. They said it was misogynistic towards women. To me, it was pretty damn realistic because things like that have happened, you know. There have been psychotic murderers that run out around the city, you know, picking off young, beautiful women. That has happened in life, you know, so And the way it was filmed and shot to me was very realistic, but they saw it as garbage and trash, you know. So I can understand from that point of view how, you know, a lot of times they did look at horror as being like the bottom of the barrel kind of thing until something like Halloween comes along, which they did really like. And Roger Ebert, when Halloween came out, he sang the praises of Halloween. So yeah, there's a certain aspect, you know. If Roger Ebert's review of Halloween never happened, you kind of wonder, would Halloween have had that traction that it did, and would it have been able to get to the next level if it didn't have a stellar review like from a Roger Ebert or a Gene Siskel or a, you know, Rex Reed or you know, people like that. You know. So I also find it funny the fact that Roger Ebert wrote the film Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, and he loved the Russ Meyer films. He wrote a Russ Meyer movie. Oh man. So I find that kind of cool and interesting, you know, wow. And he always made a point about how in the Russ Meyer films, about the characters in his movie, how I simply have not seen characters like this in a film, you know. And he's right. If you ever watch a Russ Meyer movie, they're so wild and crazy, and these zany, crazy, over-the-top characters. Yeah, in a way it's kind of sleaze, it's kind of trash, but in another way it's kind of artistic in a way, you know, the way that he filmed the movies, the style of them. So yeah. It's an interesting discussion, isn't it? What do you guys think? What is your perception on film critics in general? I know that a lot of the reason that people like me do what we do is to give kind of an alternative take on films and critiquing films. People that don't get paid to do it, people that just do it for the love of movies. And to give a kind of different take on it from, like, kind of the regular Joe like me, rather than someone who's professional and who went to college and got a master's degree, you know, and who writes books and writes these really huge articles that are very in-depth, very, very intelligent, you know. It's kind of a different kind of perspective, you know. And you will get, don't get me wrong, you will get YouTubers that are very intelligent and, you know, could write books, and, you know, some of them do, you know. But then you'll get people like me that are just kind of regular Joes that kind of give their thoughts and, you know, check this movie out. Critics didn't like it, but I love it. Maybe you will too. So that, I think that's necessary too for the people that, you know, their films did not get the love that maybe they did deserve. Because there's always movies that we're gonna love that maybe everyone else doesn't, you know. And or there's films that slip through the cracks that critics did not notice, but they were really good films, you know, that were well shot, did have great dramatic tension and great acting that they just kind of missed, you know. And that's another reason why we do the things that we do. You know, check this movie out. Critics just missed the boat on this one, you know. Check it out. So yeah, food for thought, if you will, people. So yeah, give me your thoughts in the comments below, what you think on the matter, on the topic of discussion. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think. And thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Erschen, in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared.